to kick this off is, from training, precision felling and cutting, really comes down at the end of the day for me is just positioning. A lot of times we make bad cuts or we put ourselves in very hazardous situations because how we set up, how we position ourselves. And how many of you guys can say sometimes you're making face cuts and you're an absolute rock star? You're like, man, I can't miss a cut. You're the man. And some days, and I can't make this face cut to save my life. You're off. Okay? You have to constantly try to fix it, or you don't fix it. That's the problem with most of the times. We don't fix it. If you're all the way 60, 80 feet in that tree and nobody's looking at that face cut, you're in your mind, it's 100% perfect all the time. Nobody else can see it, right? So we don't go back and fix it. And what's actually kind of funny about this is we see this all the time. You go to fell a tree and you become the most ultimate logger. You're like, man, I'm gonna put that right there. I'm like, you measure, it's all perfect, right? You spend all the time in the world to make this perfect face cut and drop this tree and you get done. You're like, man, I'm the man. I am the man, right? And then you go up 100 feet in the air and you make the worst cuts in the world, right? Well, so you have zero escape route up here, right? You're making blind cuts, right? But we're on the ground. You got, man, I'll run as fast as I can out of this zone, but you spend more time on the ground than you do in the tree. So my goal is to design a step-by-step procedure of cutting to be able to make this face cut perfect 90% of the time, right? And hit that mark. Right? I could take a newbie out here who's never ran a chainsaw. At the end of the day, I'll have him making this cut absolutely perfect 90% of the time. And if he is off, he's going to be off by this much. Right? That's the goal. You can aim small, this small, right? So I'm going to show you guys this procedure. And if you guys follow this, I promise you will be in that percentile of making face cuts. Which, that being said, comes down to work position. If you don't get in that position, you'll never make this cut perfect. And if you do, you're lucky. You're going to be lucky. And you're going to be lucky maybe 40% of the time, which is not what we want. Okay? We want to get rid of the hot shots. Okay? We all seen those. You get these leaning trees. You're like, man, I can't get out there and make that cut. But stand clear! Whoa! The pie flies out, you're like, stand clear! Goes over, you're like, I'm a man. Right? You have no idea what that looks like. You just went for it. Right? I just see you guys laughing. I've done it, I've been there. I've been years of doing that. Right? And that's Hollywood. That's Hollywood. We need to get out of that. We need to get in a good position where we can hit our marks all the time. So I'm going to show you guys real quick. Just something real simple. Just getting into a choke system once, right? We're not letting our system just break around the front. So typically what you see is you get your lanyard, and then you have your private system just kind of draped underneath. Right? It doesn't help you, it doesn't help the situation, it doesn't help the rescue. Right? So, if something were to happen to you in the tree, how are you going to get out of it? How is somebody else going to get you down? Right? Put it that way. So, who are you helping at the end of the day? You're saving your own life. Just something as simple as putting the SRS system on that spar. So if something were to happen, right, somebody could come up and actually rescue you and not figure out what kind of mumbo jumbo you got up here and then, create something to get you down. Set yourself up. Save your own life. You put it that way, it's like, yeah, it's a no-brainer. It took me 2 seconds to do that. And it's safer. I just open it up and I move down. Do it again. You're never taking anything on and off. Okay, very, very simple. The next is being able to position yourself. So if I'm on a spar all day long, and you guys know who's been on their spurs 8 to 10 hours in a day, right? I don't care if you're Superman. Your hips are gonna hurt, your legs are gonna hurt. You're gonna get a little beat up from just sitting there all day long. So find a comfortable way to position yourself. So if I'm sitting up here on the spar, right? Now I'm set up. Check this out. Right? I got more weight distributing through my climbing system, which ultimately is way more comfortable than your hips. Right? So that already just took a ton of load off me. It feels great. Right? The next is now I have a choke. I can actually move around this tree like a tine if I have to get in better position. Okay? It's way more mobility. The next is being able to move around the other side if I have to make another cut. If I come this way, what happens? Right? The bite opens up, doesn't choke. Right? So to mitigate that, if you guys carry these little prussics, take that bad boy off, and once you set this, you don't have to set it again. It stays on there for your duration of rigging. Okay? I think this is pretty, they can see it, right? So you don't have to. Okay, so something as simple as that right there, or an old I&I, this will go a long way. Okay? So now, right, there we go. So if I work in this direction, I got a bite. If I work this direction, I got a bite. Now, it doesn't matter where I'm at on this trunk, I can get myself in that position to make a good cut. I got zero excuse, right? And I'm comfortable. Okay? So, yeah.
Just so they know why we're doing
Yeah.
the choke. So, the new rule is, the new cosa para nosotros climber de la línea es necesitamos una línea que tiene un chupado como eso. Eso es más mejor porque se nos ocurre si necesita o tiene una problema en el árbol y una persona necesita ir y trae a la tierra. So, ahora nomás podemos poner solo la flip line y nuestra línea de gas, nuestra soga abajo. Necesitar hacer como eso para mover más mejor en el árbol y como viste es mejor para mover a la tronca. Tiene una angle de mi tronca.
Is positioning even for your rigging. So if I blow this head out, right, and now I know my next cut's going to be here, I can actually stay tied in. Okay? I stay tied in, I can set my retrieval. All right? Now I can repel down to my next cut. I know that I'm going to rig here, right? So now I'm tied in. I take my rigging off. Now, first thing we do when we typically take our rigging off, we have all that rope, big heavy block, and we take it and we put it on our hip next to or on the opposite side of our chainsaw, and it's like, ugh, right? It's super frustrating. Now you got to try to tie it. You got a rope and a block, and you got to do that over and over and over again. It gets tiring. Take that block, put a carabiner on it, and clip it into your bridge. Okay? Now all that weight of that whatever 5/8, 3/4 inch rope and that heavy block is hanging through your system and hanging off of this. Right? So now I don't feel it. It's just there. Now I come down to where I want to rig. I'm like, okay, this is my spot. I'll suck in tight. I'll use the weight there. This is pretending that this is my rigging, okay? So now I can set my rigging, right? I don't feel the rigging. I'm not carrying it. It's not. There's my block and my rigging rope, right? So it's really simple. I just saved a ton of energy right there from moving everything around, and I'm tied in. So everything's set. Now I need to make my face cut. So I just make my face cut, stay tied in, and then when I'm ready for retrieval, right, I can just slack it, grab the tail, pop it. It's going to come down. Right? Above, below, however you like. And then I'm back in action. Okay, I never took anything off. Saved a lot of energy, a lot of time, a lot of untying, and I'm ready to go. So, really, 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 really simple. Okay? All right. What do you guys think on that? Yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, moving, that's the biggest killer is when rigging is those blocks. I mean, having X-rings nowadays has been a huge plus, not carrying around big impact blocks, you know? So, all right, go back into cutting. So now, I have my work positioning set up. I don't want to retrieve it. Okay, I can have that. I like to set it up right in the back middle. So now I have multi-direction, right? So, all right, so, here. Okay, so, let's talk about precision. When I'm making this face cut, okay, now, every scenario is going to be a little different, right? So you can't always put yourself in this scenario, the best case scenario. So when I teach the pro side of the chainsaw, the bar and chain, and then the go side. So a lot of the newbies that I bring in, we work on strictly the go side. So this is going to be your high percentage of making these cuts. It's going to be from here, okay? So with that being said, if I come in on this side and I try to make that cut, right, what did I just do to myself? I blinded myself from the cut, okay? So, just slack this out. So, I come here, and I make that cut, and I see this all the time, right? I'm blind. I can't see my depth. I can't see anything, okay? Now I go make the face cut, so I gotta switch hands now. Okay. I'm like, okay. Right? I'm still blind. Alright, so now I match that up and maybe it's off a little bit. So now I just keep whittling away. It would waste a lot of time, effort, and energy to make that cut. Okay? We get in position to where we get a visual on that cut in every motion, right? Now I can see down the back side of my chainsaw, okay? So if I'm sitting here, you can see how easy this is to move the chainsaw with one hand. Like it's effortless. So now I pick my sight, make my top cut, okay? I can come in, I have my guide in the back, right? Pop it out, okay? Now I come in, I can see down the top curve, okay? So now that I come in, I'm looking, I got a beautiful sight. Be able to see that cut. So now, as I'm cutting, I'm peeking through the top of that curve. I can see through all the way. So now when I'm coming in, I'm looking for the tip of my bar.
Yeah.
Okay, as soon as I see the tip of my bar on that side, I stop and I slow down. We commonly, gosh, I can't tell you how much I see bad cuts happen because we're impatient. We want to come in and barrel this thing out full throttle. You know, we're taking a pie out, we're like, bah! And we overcut, right? As soon as you see that piece move and there's a chatter, just stop. Take your saw out, break the piece out, come in here and clean that cut up, okay? Because this apex is everything, right? Without this hinge in place, the face cut means nothing. Have you guys ever, like a door, a bedroom door, you ever take a pencil, shove it in the door, or like have something so small and stupid get stuck in the door, and then you can't close it, like it only moves like a 1/4 inch and it gets stuck? It's the same thing here, right? If this is off just a little bit, it's not a hinge anymore, okay? So this apex has to be perfect, all right? So one thing is making the perfect face cut, the other is being able to fix it. If you mess up, fix it, okay? So this way, having that top cut first allows you to match up better doing the bottom after. It's easier to fix the bottom, coming in and fix the bottom, than it is to come back over and over and over and fix the top. Would you guys agree? And you guys know, especially with big face cuts, you know, doing that cut takes a lot of time, a lot of wood, and you can really waste the day away messing around with face cuts. So, with that being said, now if I come and release the back from this side, what happens? I'm blind, right? I can't like try to do that, okay? So, like I said, this takes a little bit more movement. I can come back around, but I'm in a really good position to do that. It only takes 5 seconds, okay? The other reason I like to come in off this side, one, obviously, I got a really good sight line because I can see all the way down, right, into that cut. I mean, it's just clear as day. It's wide open. Secondly is, I like to sit at a 45 to my cut, and I'm right-handed. So as I make this cut, I should be able to make the cut out, and then I'm ready to take the ride, okay? And I see this a lot too, is rushing through these cuts. We panic, first thing we do, we ditch the saw. And there goes, you know, an 066 or a 372 dangling 10 feet underneath you because you're panicking, okay? So everything's step by step. You can hit this and use the dogs. Your dogs are aligned. So if I set my dogs and I split the difference of that cut, I'm going to be perfect, right? If I put a dog above and one below, right? I'm going to match that, right? Now I just got to worry more about, you know, being level this way, right? So I don't think I need to make it like that. So that's number one. If you guys could stick to that 3-step process, I guarantee you'll hit the spot over and over and over again. Then after that, you're going to want nothing less. You're going to want nothing less than perfection, right? Because if you make a bad cut, the odds are you're not going to fix it, right? When you get away from the Hollywoods, you know, that's a lot of work to do. Really shitty cuts, you know? It's actually harder to make a shitty cut than it is to make a good cut, you know? So,